All right, everybody, let's get started. Welcome to this BJC Social Studies past paper review session. So the first question is, which direction is not a cardinal point? Is it A, east, B, northeast, C, north, or D, south? Okay, I'm getting a lot of B's, but I see someone says C. Martina, you say C, and a lot of people are saying B's. The answer is actually B. Okay, so let me explain that to you using this compass right here. On the compass, we have different points. The cardinal points are north, east, west, and south. So those are the main points. Those are the cardinal points. And the points that are located between the cardinal points, that's like northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest, we call those intercardinal points. Okay, so if you think about it, the word inter means between. And so when we say intercardinal, we're talking about between the cardinal points. So again, the cardinal points are northeast, west, and south. So all of the points in the middle between those cardinal points are called inter. All right. So the next question, an instrument used for measuring time is a compass, hourglass, log, or quadrant. All right, everyone's saying B. The answer is B. Yeah, it's an hourglass. All right, number 3, the study of the solar system and its function is called, all right, A, astronomy, B, cartography, C, geology, D, meteorology. The answer is A, yes. All right, moving on to number 4. The type of map one would use to find where people reside. Would you use A, a contour map, B, a physical map, C, political, or D, a thematic map? I'm getting answers like C, B. Some people are saying political and some people are saying physical. Okay. All right, so some of you are saying political, some are saying physical. Well, let's see what the answer really is. If you want to know where people reside, where they live, you wouldn't use a physical map, because a physical map describes the physical features of a place. When you look at a physical map, you can see things like the rivers, the water bodies, the landscape, the mountains. So you wouldn't use a physical map. You wouldn't use a contour map, because the contour map gives you an idea of the elevation of the land. The political maps, which is C, it tells you the names of places. This one is a little tricky because the political maps, they tell you the names of places, like the names of countries, the names of the capital. People do, I mean, you can that, people live in these places, but then there are also maps called like population maps. For example, that's like this, population density. This is a population density map, and it tells us the amount of people in a given location, how dense the population is. And this is neither a contour map, a political map, or a physical map. This is what we call a thematic map. It's a map that's based on a theme, a special theme. And the theme of this map is population density. So, like I said, this one's a little bit tricky, and I'm leaning towards D, which is a thematic map. All right, number 5. On which continent can the Atlas Mountain be found? A, Africa, B, Europe, C, North America, or D, South America? You can put in the answers. We're getting B. People are saying Europe. Any other answers? Anyone think it's located outside of Europe somewhere else? C, DeMarco is saying C, North America. Che, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Pardon me if I'm not. Che is saying Africa, and Deontay is also saying Africa. Sanaya, you're not sure, you're saying A or B? Okay, so let's take a look at the map. The Atlas Mountains, that mountain range. Here it is. This area that I'm circling in blue, that is a mountain range that's known as the Atlas Mountains. Let's see, there's another map. There it is. This is another view of it. Can anyone tell me which continent this is located on? You can type it in the chat. Yep, that's right, it's Africa. This is North Africa. And the Atlas Mountain is located between the Sahara Desert. Sorry, it's located between the Sahara Desert, which is down there, and the Mediterranean Sea, MS, which is right there. You can see Italy that's shaped like a little boot. That's one way to help you remember what it looks like. So it's located between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, but also the Atlantic Ocean, which is right there. So the Atlas Mountain range is located in Africa. So the answer for that is A. Number 6, which of the following countries is not an island nation? A, the Bahamas, B, Dominica, C, Guyana, or D, Jamaica? I'm getting B, C, D. Some people say Dominica, some saying Guyana, someone saying Jamaica. Okay, so an island nation. They're simply asking which country is not an island. That's what they mean when they say an island nation. Is the Bahamas an island nation? We're made up of islands, right? Yeah.
Yes,
So the answer is not the Bahamas. What about Jamaica? Is Jamaica an island?
no.
Yeah. So it's not Jamaica, it's not the Bahamas. What about Dominica? Is that an island? Yep. All right. So that leaves us with Guyana. Can someone tell me where Guyana is located? Yes, it's C. It's C, Sanaya. Anyone know? Can anyone describe and say where Guyana is located? If it's not an island, then where is it? That's right, Rajon. It's South America. And the Caribbean Sea is north of Guyana. So it's on the Caribbean Sea, like the Caribbean Sea is on its coast, but Guyana is located in the north of South America, although it's considered a part of the Caribbean, but it's not an island. All right, you guys did good. Let's go to question number 7. The instrument used to measure air pressure is it A, an anemometer, B, a barometer, C, hydrometer, or D, a thermometer? Christian is saying B. Sanaya, you're saying A, B, and C. Okay, B. Annabella, you're saying hydrometer. So most people are saying B, and the answer is B. It's a barometer. Let's see what that looks like. That's what a barometer looks like. The barometer measures the pressure of the air. Okay. Now, take a look at figure 1. Thankfully, in the exam, your images will be much clearer than this, but let's see what we can tell from it. We see that there's a metal funnel, a copper container, a glass jar, and concrete. It says, what is the name of the weather instrument in figure 1? Is it A, an anemometer, a barometer, a rain gauge, or a wind vane? Some people are saying a rain gauge, some are saying an anemometer, A and C. It's a rain gauge. Okay, the answer is C. Let's take a better look at what a rain gauge looks like. Okay, so that's what it's kind of looking like. So with the rain gauge, it's used to collect rain in this funnel right here, which then goes down into this graduated cylinder. And by graduated, I mean it has measurements on it, so you can tell how much liquid is in it. So we have here a graduated cylinder. Hold on, let me get a pointer. Okay, so this is our funnel to collect the rain. This is the graduated cylinder, and the amount of rainfall is measured using this cylinder. So that's what that is. So that's what that instrument is supposed to be. All right, question 9. This is a mapping question. What does this P.O symbol represent on a map? A, personal officer, post office. C, postal order, or D, what is that, put out? People are saying B. You're all correct. It does represent the post office. Okay, y'all doing good. So question 10, which two planets are the largest in our solar system? Is it Earth and Saturn, Jupiter and Neptune, Saturn and Jupiter, or Mars and Venus? So most people are saying C, Saturn and Jupiter. Someone saying B. Okay, so one thing we do know is that Jupiter is definitely the largest planet in the solar system. So that means the answer cannot be A, nor can it be B. But the answer is C. It's Saturn and Jupiter. Let's look at that. So here we have Jupiter, which is the largest planet. Next would be Saturn with its rings. Okay. So it's Jupiter and Saturn. Number 11. The best way to describe the climate of the Bahamas is A, frigid, B, polar, C, subtropical, or D, temperate. Okay, some people are saying C, and Bella, you're saying it could be D, which is temperate. C is subtropical. All right, the answer is C. All right, so frigid and polar, they're very cold climates. Temperate is a very cool climate. That's not the Bahamas. We're subtropical. And number 12, the body of water located between Florida and the Bahamas is called the A, Bight of Acklins, B, Northeast Providence Channel, C, Old Bahama Channel, or D, Straits of Florida. So far, everyone's saying D. Okay, so Che, you're saying the Northeast Providence Channel. All right, let's look at the map. This body of water located between the Bahamas and Florida, we're talking about this area right here. That body of water where I just drew the green arrows. That's called the Straits of Florida. All right, number 13, the capital of the Bahamas is Freeport, Georgetown, Marsh Harbor, or Nassau? Yeah, it's Nassau. Number 14, the distance of the sun from the earth is about A, B, C, or D. Take a look at those figures. Number 14. Okay, we're getting C. Someone's saying D. All right, the answer is C. All right, number 15. One complete turn around the sun is called A, atoll, B, orbit, C, rotation, or D, revolution. What is the answer there? We're getting, some people are saying orbit. Someone's saying rotation. Most people are saying orbit. And Natalia, you're saying D. All right, so the answer for number 15 is D, revolution. I mean, think about it. When we talk about the earth, the movement around the sun, do we say that the earth atolls around the sun? Do we say the earth orbits around the sun? Do we say the earth rotates around the sun? Or do we say the earth revolves around the sun? We normally say that the earth revolves around the sun. Okay. Number 16, which island in the Bahamas has the highest elevation? Is it A, Bimini, B, Cat Island, C, Exuma, or D, Rumkey? Most people are saying B. Sanaya, you're saying B and C. Now remember, there's always going to be only one answer. Most people are saying B, and the answer is B. Can anyone type in the chat, tell me the name of it, of that highest elevation? Okay, I see Bella said Mount Alvernia, that's right. Yeah, you spelled it correctly, Bella, Mount Alvernia. Okay, let's take a quick look at that picture. There it is. So that is Mount Alvernia. That's the Hermitage located on top of Mount Alvernia on the island of Cat Island. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so question 17. The slash and burn method is practiced in which area? Most people are saying B, which is farming. That's right. So slash and burn is a method in which plants, vegetation is cut down and then it's burnt. And it's usually done to clear the land for new growth. And it's done in the farming practice. It's not banking, it's not fishing, it's not tourism. What was the Arawak's name for San Salvador? Is it A, Fernandina, B, Guanahani, C, Guanin, or D, Watlands Island? Everyone's saying B, and you're right. It is Guanahani. Which Amerindian chief prophesied the doom of the Arawaks? Kasibu, Chap, Quasito, or Ubuthan? We're getting C and A. The answer for number 19 is A, Kasibu. Number 20, the Arawaks call their heaven. What did they call their heaven? Which of those? Arieto, Batos, Cohoba, or Koyaba? We're getting D's and B. We're getting Koyaba and Batos. The answer is D, Koyaba. All right, the Arawaks flatten the heads of their babies for A, initiation, B, migration, C, protection, or D, spiritualism. Everyone's saying C so far, and that's right, it is C for protection. And number 22, which settlement in Abaco is famous for its boat building? Elbow Key, Manowar Key, Samana Key, or Treasure Key? Okay, we're getting Manowar Key, and some people are saying Treasure Key. All right, so it's actually Manowar Key. They're very famous for their boat building. It's not Treasure Key. Treasure Key is more of a kind of a real estate development area. All right, so what about number 23? The first Bahamian newspaper, who started that? The answer is D, John Wells. He started the first Bahamian newspaper. Number 24, what was the main reason for Christopher Columbus' voyage to the New World? A, new sea route to the east, B, for precious gems, C, religious exploration, or D, territory expansion? Someone said religious exploration. Some are saying new sea route to the east. Jonathan is saying territory expansion. Well, this one can be a tricky one as well. I'll tell you why. Because everything that's written here, A through D, all of those things, well, let me put it this way. The answer is A. Christopher Columbus himself wanted to find another route to the east, one that wasn't being used. He wanted to find a new route because he thought that if he went west, he would just automatically end up east. And that was his reason. He wanted to explore. But these three other things, that wasn't his reason for leaving, but it was a side effect. It was a side effect of his voyage. In other words, because he took that voyage to the New World, this is what happened as well. They got precious gems. They, well, this says religious exploration, but what they did, they spread their religion and also they expanded the territory. Well, it's not all of the above, you know. For Christopher Columbus himself, he wanted to find a new route because he was an explorer. But the deal was when he go on this exploration, he would also do these other three things. Well, these other things, which is get any precious gems and expand the territory and also spread the religion. Number 25, what name did Columbus give Long Island on his first voyage to the New World? A, Fernandina, B, Isabella, C, La Rose, or D, Santa Maria de la Concepcion? I'm getting answers like A, Fernandina, Yeah, the answer is A. Number 26, which group introduced wrecking to the Bahamas? Was it A, the Arawaks, B, the Buccaneers, C, the Lutheran adventurers, or D, the pirates? Some people are saying the pirates. Some are saying the Lutheran adventurers. Okay, so the answer is C. If you'll remember, the Lutheran adventurers, when they came here, they got shipwrecked and they lost their belongings, a lot of their belongings. So things were really tough for them for a while. And so they started the industry wrecking. They started wrecking other ships in order to make it here in the Bahamas. So the answer is C, the Lutheran adventurers. What is wrecking? Number 27, it says wrecking is yes, it's D, the salvaging of goods. What was the name of Nassau's first newspaper? Was it A, the Bahama Journal, B, the Gazette, C, the Nassau Guardian, or D, the Tribune? We're getting B and C. The answer for number 28 is B, the Gazette. It was actually called the Bahamas Gazette. Number 29, which group of people wanted to remain loyal to Britain? The Africans, the Buccaneers, the Lutheran adventurers, or the Loyalists? Yes, the answer is D, the Loyalists. The answer is in the name, isn't it? The Loyalists. They are people who wanted to remain loyal to Britain even when they weren't there anymore. So it's D. Number 30, which group of settlers introduced junk canoe to the Bahamas? Was it African slaves, A, Europeans, Queen Victoria, or the Spanish? Yes, it was African slaves. What is another name for Vendu House located on the island of New Providence? Which is it? I'm getting D. Yeah, it's D, the Pompeii Museum. And for those of you who may have never seen it before, that's a picture of the Pompeii Museum. It's located in Nassau. It's where the slaves were sold. That's a modern day picture, of course. Number 32, when were slaves emancipated in the Bahamas? In 1804, 1838, 1962, or 1967? Most people so far are saying B, 1838. Yeah, the answer is B. So that is when slaves were emancipated. Let's not get it confused with the abolition of slavery. Do you guys remember when abolition happened? Which year that happened? Okay, so that happened in 1834. I think it was 4 years earlier. And there's a difference. Abolition is when the sale and the purchase of slaves became illegal. It had to stop. And in 1838, emancipation is when slaves were actually freed. All right, so number 33, how many lord proprietors rented the Bahamas? 2, 4, 6, or 8? Okay, most people are saying 6. I saw someone said D. Cairo, you said D. Okay, so let's clarify. The answer is 6. The answer is 6. However, there were actually 8 lord proprietors who were given land to rent in this side of the New World by the crown, but only 6 of those 8 lord proprietors were given land to rent in the Bahamas. Some of them were given land to rent in the United States, like in the Carolinas, but only 6 of them rented the Bahamas. So the answer is C. In which year did the Lutheran adventurers come to the Bahamas? 1624, 1638, 1648, or 1652? All right, most people are saying C, and DeMarco, you say D or C. Okay, so the answer for number 34 is C. They came in 1648. Who was the Bahamas' first premier? Was it Arthur D. Hanna, Lyndon Pinland, Milo Butler, or Roland Simonette? Okay, we're getting Lyndon Pinland and Milo Butler and Roland Simonette. All right. So the answer is D, Roland Simonette. He was the first premier, and that was in 1964, I think it was. That was when the Bahamas got self-government. In 1964, there was a constitutional change as well. And when that constitution changed, it introduced a premier to the Bahamas because we were self-government. And Roland Simonette, he became the first premier. For those of you who are saying Lyndon Pinland, he was also a premier, but he was not the first premier. He was the first Black premier. Roland Simonette was not Black, he was white, but Lyndon Pinland was the first Black premier. So the answer is D. Number 36, the word premier was changed to what in 1969? Yeah, it's changed to it was changed to prime minister. So the answer is C. Number 37, when does the budget year begin and end? And the budget year, we're talking about when the government does their finances and allocates different amounts of monies to different departments. People are saying C and A. The answer is A for 37. It starts in July and it ends in June, July 1st, and it ends June 30th. Okay, in 1964, the Executive Council was changed to what? The cabinet, the lower house, the opposition, or the Senate? Most people are getting it right. The answer is A, the cabinet. And how many houses make up the Bahamian parliament? 1, 2, 3, or 4? The answer is 2. We have what's called a bicameral parliamentary system. And what does the word bi mean? Anyone know what bi means? Yeah, that's right, Amaya and Amari. It means 2, yeah, so it's two houses. And number 40, who designed the national flag of the Bahamas? A, B, C, or D? We're getting, the answer is B, it's Dr. Hervis Bain. It was B. Okay. Citizens who live in a democracy would be least likely to have which of those things? A, forced voting, B, freedom of press, C, freedom of speech, or D, freedom of worship? Okay, DeMarco, you're saying C? Or is that from the other answer? Okay, we're getting A's. Okay, Widleen, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, saying A. No, you're saying C. Most other folks are saying A. Okay, so the answer is A. So when you live in a democracy, you actually have more freedoms than if you live in a dictatorship. Okay, if you're in a dictatorship, all right, I won't bother to spell it right now. Okay, if you're in a dictatorship, then a lot of your freedoms are restricted. And let's take a look at this question. You'll notice that there are 4 answers, and 3 of those answers talk about freedoms, like freedom of press, speech, worship, and only 1 of these answers is actually different. So if you didn't really know the answer, you can use a little bit of logic and say, okay, 1 of these has to be different from the rest. And so being forced to vote is different from having freedoms. So the answer is A. In a democracy, you're not forced to vote. You have the option to vote. But if you're in a dictatorship, you have to vote. In fact, I recently read that in Ecuador, that they are being fined if they don't vote, that they're going to be fined. I don't remember how much, but there's a fine for people who didn't vote in their elections. Okay, number 42. Why are the members of parliament more important than the members of the Senate? Is it because they are appointed, they are elected, they are nominated, or they are ordained? People are saying because they are elected, B. And that's right, they are elected. So the majority elects, the masses elects the members of parliament. Those are the men and women who represent the different constituencies. So on election day, when people go to vote, they're voting in these members of parliament. 43, which official reads the speech from the throne? Is it the commissioner of police, the commodore of the defense force, the governor general, or the prime minister? Everyone's saying it's the governor general. Why is it the governor general? Why does he read the speech from the throne?
Because he's the representative of the queen, well, the king now.
Ah, yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah, because he represents the king, or seen as though there's no queen anymore, I guess we can say he represents the throne. Okay, good job, everyone. The amount of money the government plans to spend for the country is outlined in a what? A budget, expenditure, revenue, or taxes? Someone saying in expenditure, some are saying budget. All right, so the answer is A. This question is, okay, it's the amount of money the government plans to spend for the country is outlined in a budget. And then in question 37, it talks about when does the budget year begin. So there's a little bit of repetition here, not really in the actual question, but in terms of giving us the answer. So the budget year, like I said before, is managing the funds for the country. And 44, that's what it's called. It's called a budget. Taxes, of course, that's what is collected from the people. Revenue is what is earned from the different departments. For example, when you get your car license, you have to pay a fee to the government. So that money goes to the government as revenue. And expenditure is what is spent. So budget is the allocation of the funds. It tells us, it lays out how the funds will be allocated, how the spending will take place. Number 45, in which court would you expect an individual under the age of 18 to be tried? People are saying B, juvenile. Yes, that's right. In the juvenile court, that's where individuals under 18 would be tried. Which of those would be considered the highest court in the land? Civil, juvenile, magistrate, or supreme? Yeah, it would be the Supreme Court. All right, number 46, which individual is referred to as the father of labor in the Bahamas? We're getting D's. D, Sir Randall Fox. That's correct. In fact, let's take a look. Sir Randall Fox, we even changed the name Labor Day to Sir Randall Fox Day to commemorate this gentleman. Okay, so Sir Randall Fox. Number 47, the composition of the Senate is what? 14, 15, 16, or 17? Jonathan is saying 17. Tiara saying 16. DeMarco saying 14. We're getting a lot of different answers. Bella is saying 15. Okay, for number 47, the answer is C. It's 16. The composition of the Senate is 16. What about number 48? The party with the least amount of seats in the House of Assembly form what? Do they form the cabinet, the government, the opposition, or the Senate? Some folks are saying the opposition. Anyone think it's something different? All right, so the answer is C, it is the opposition. So the word opposition means to oppose. So that party that did not win, they have this least amount of seats, they oppose the winning party. They're called the opposition. And 49, what is the symbol of authority in the House of Assembly? Is it the hourglass, the mace, the sergeant at arms, or the speaker? Okay, some folks are saying the mace and some are saying the speaker is the symbol of authority. The answer is the mace. I have a little picture here to show what the mace is. You remember that? That's a picture of what a mace looks like. It's the symbol of authority. So the person who has authority to speak has that mace. And you'll remember that Sir Lyndon Pinlin, he threw the mace out of the window to say that he does not acknowledge the authority in Parliament. He threw it out the window to get across his point and what he was trying to say, which was to address the unfairness of the government structure. And number 50, trade unions help to negotiate for what? Amari, you're asking number 47. Let's look back at that. Number 47, the answer was C. The composition of the Senate is 16. And back to number 50, trade unions help to negotiate for. Jonathan is saying workers. Shavazio, is that right? D is saying workers. You're welcome, Amari. Everyone so far is saying the workers. Valerie, you're saying trade unions negotiate for the government. Okay, Christian is saying D. All right, so the answer is D. So trade unions, unions are groups of people who come together. Let's see, trade unions are groups of people who come together under us, who have a common trade. For example, teachers. All teachers, they can come together and form a union, which is they come together and they speak on behalf of all teachers regarding any issues or changes that they'd like to see happen. So when people get together and they form a union, they're stronger than if they were to come individually. Okay, so for example, your students, if you have a problem in a class, you can go to the teacher and address that problem individually. But if you talk to your other classmates and you say, let's get together and really come together as one so that we're a bigger body, we form a union, and now you're stronger. And so there are different unions throughout the Bahamas, and these trade unions, they negotiate for the people who work in that trade. So the teachers union will negotiate for the teachers in that trade, which are the workers. All right, so it's already now after 7. I had hoped that we could do the mapping questions, but we'll get to that tomorrow. We have a social studies online course. For those of you who might want to review the actual information that you have to know for the exam, we teach the full curriculum in the community courses. And if you also want to practice, I forgot to show it to you, but if you wanted to practice with more past papers, we also have a social studies answer key book. There's a small fee for that. I think it's $12.95. That's on the website. That has 100 multiple choice questions and answers to go with it. Well, I'd like to thank you all for joining me this evening. You all did really well. You did really well. And for those of you who said you're attending the exams this year, good luck. And I hope I can see you all tomorrow. So have a good evening, everyone.
You too.
You too, good evening.
All right.
Have a good evening.
Good evening. Take care, everyone.